All right, y'all. So we're about to make Mississippi rolls. I rarely make recipes, but this one supposedly is so delicious, so good. So I'm gonna make it. It's quite simple, and I don't eat rolls much myself. As you can see, this one in a different cut. I soaked it in vinegar and all that. That's why it looks different, because I needed this one to be more tender, and then I've even punctured holes in it so that the seasoning and the flavors can go through. But yeah, this is supposed to be a delightful recipe. It calls for a ranch pack, but I already have this on hand, so same thing except it's in a bottle. Pepperoni peppers and the Au Jus gravy mix pack. And guess what, y'all? I'm about to make it in the Instapot. So let's see how this goes. It tells you do not add any liquid to it at all. So I'm really tempted just to put a little bit of chicken broth, but at the same time, I may just follow what it says because this is a crock pot recipe, not an Instapot recipe. But hey, I'm gonna try my luck, because if it doesn't get to the level of tenderness that I want, all I have to do is finish it off in the oven. Okay, but let's see how the Instapot does. It's not failed me yet. It ain't failed me yet, honey. Okay, so I was just turning it on. I'm at my mom's, so this is the older one. But we're gonna get ready to pop it in. So we're gonna pick up our roast and we're gonna put it right in there like that. Put this one over here like that. Okay. Let me get the. Ooh, wait, y'all. I forgot something. It's supposed to be 5 ingredients: the roast plus butter. That's what I forgot. I'm gonna use unsalted. So the roast is 1, this is 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. So this is the ranch, y'all. It's supposed to be about a package worth, and then I have 2 roasts in here. So I'm still having to use my judgment, because I have a little more meat and put more seasoning. And then this is the Au Jus packet. Okay, I'm not going to overlook the Au Jus. And here's it, y'all. And then we're going in with the peppers. And those peppers have juice in them. Let's do 3. 2 for one roast and then 1 for the other. But an extra one won't hurt. And since we are in the Instapot, I am gonna put just a little of the juice from the pepper, and then you're supposed to put the butter right on top. So I'm gonna break this butter in half so I can essentially put a stick on top of each one. We'll put the big piece on this one. This is what makes it tender, having that butter right on top. It's a long way. Like that, y'all. And that's supposed to be it. So I'm gonna turn it on low. This is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a low pressure level, pressure cook, and please forgive the barking dog, y'all, but I did roast so that I could feed quite a few people. All of the recipes I saw required a crock pot, and I was just not about to cook this roast for 8 hours. The original recipe requires 8-hour cook time in a crock pot. so I had to do it in the Instapot. I normally cook everything in my Instapot on high pressure, but because I wanted to mimic crock pot cooking as closely as possible, I started out with it on low pressure. I did end up extending the cook time. Pressure to low, take it off, keep warm, and we go put it on. Let's start with 2 hours. In a crock pot, they tell you to cook it for about 8. So we're gonna do 2 hours on the Instapot. Forgive the dog, y'all. My mom is driving up and he's going berserk. But that's what we're gonna do, y'all. 2 hours and 2 minutes on low pressure. There you go. I'll be back. Let's see what it does, y'all. Fingers crossed.
2 hours later.
Alright, y'all, here's the moment of truth. Let's check it out. Oh, let's see. All the steam has released. See there? So I just need there it is, y'all. So it's kind of fork tender. I'm sure it is done. I'm gonna taste it for seasoning. I think what I might do next, cause see it's fork tender, but what I may do next is put it on high pressure. Now that it's done and we're cooking it on low pressure, it should have plenty of flavor. All of the flavor from both the Au Jus packet and the ranch should be in there. Let me get a spoon so I can taste it. Just 1 second. I love the Instapot. Do you hear me? I love it. So remember, this cooked in butter, y'all. Just the butter and the seasoning packs. The recipe is really for a crock pot. See there? Really for a crock pot and not for an Instapot, but I decided why not. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see. Sorry, I need to clean my camera. I'm not over the pot, I'm just standing here. Pepperoncinis give it a kick. Going back in the extra little juice in there. I don't want to add any salt to it at all. I don't want to add any salt to it. I'm just going to put the top back on it and turn it on high pressure. Okay, because that's tender. It's fork tender, but it is not as tender as you would want a roast to be. This cut of roast is actually a little more tender than that one. But I'm gonna let them both run for another hour. Okay? High pressure for another hour, and I'll be right back. One last thing, y'all, because the gravy is so thin, I like the way it tastes, okay? It doesn't taste like gravy. I mean, you literally kind of taste the flavor from those pepperoncinis, and their flavor it has a little depth to it, so it mimics gravy. But anyway, I wanted a little thicker, so I made a slurry, not of flour, but of cornstarch, okay? So that when I turn this back on, it will thicken. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Told y'all it didn't make sense for me to follow a recipe because I always change it. I just put a little cornstarch in there, not much, okay? But in addition to that, y'all, I forgot my carrots and potato. So I cut these up. I actually have these for a boil that I'm gonna make on either tomorrow or Sunday. But I decided to cut several of them up and put them in the roast because Basically the recipe says that like an hour and a half to 2 hours before the roast is done cooking, you will put potatoes in it. And I do want to add vegetables, so we're gonna drop them in. I'm gonna put them on top just like that so they won't overcook. Y'all know this Instant Pot really cooks. Okay, so now we have our potatoes in. And I just want to make sure, kind of want them facing down so they can get the juice. That's the thing to remember about Instant Pot cooking. Remember, you don't get to go in and stir, so you have to think about that. So I'm facing them with the open side down, the cut side down. And then lastly, I'm just gonna put in not too many carrots, but just a few. And hopefully they won't turn to mush in this Instant Pot. I don't think they will. They should get very soft, but I trust they're gonna keep their shape. Okay, they'll just be really tender. Alright, so that's it, y'all. That's it. We're gonna put our top back on. Lock it, put that back on close, and then for 1 hour I'm gonna do high pressure. High, and then take off the keep warm, and I just want 1 hour. I don't want an hour and 20 minutes. 1 hour I'll do is good. So high pressure. Okay. Waiting on that flame to come up. And the flame, there it is. That's how you know it's cooking. Otherwise it's on keep warm. So you always want to wait until you see it come on. That lets you know it's cooking. So we sit for an hour on high pressure. And we'll be back, y'all. Our broth should be a little thicker, and our vegetables are of course going to be tender. And what I will do, I'm gonna take it I'm gonna let it rest. Once it's done, I'm gonna actually let it rest, and then I will take it out, and depending on the texture of it, I really want to slice it. I don't want to keep it whole. I want to slice it a bit to be able to present it well. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, we're back now, and the Instant Pot is now off. I've never showed y'all how the vent works on it, but see, it's really very still. Excuse me, it is still very hot. Very hot. That's why when I wipe the top of it, you see this thing. Y'all probably can't see it on camera. Anyway, I'm going to show you the difference in the newer ones and the old ones. That's like from the steam, because you have to open this valve up. See where it says venting right here? So this is the difference in the old school one versus the new school. When I put a towel, and I make sure the towel is damp because it needs to have weight, I put a towel over it and then open it like that. Now see when that's how you let the steam out. But had I tried to open it when this first went off, it would have been sprouting everywhere. I mean, steam goes everywhere, so you have to be very careful. The new Instant Pot, you don't have to do this. All of this is inside like a little plastic compartment on top of the lid, okay? Just open it, y'all. There it is. There she is, y'all. Ooh-wee. Let's get it closer. I can't put the camera much closer because this thing is getting in the lens, so I just zoomed in. But let me get a fork and a spoon. Ooh, 1 second. Now that's more like it, honey. Oh yes, that's what we want to see. The potatoes are also fork tender at this point. Ooh wee, that's why I left them on top so they wouldn't turn to mush. And look, even the carrots are as well. They are not mushy. Pick up our other roast. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Waiting on the steam to clear so y'all can really see, but this turned out beautifully. I still wish I had put some flour in it. I don't like how loose the gravy is or the pot liquor, but my understanding is that this tastes really good over like mashed potatoes or whatever as is, or rice, whatever you want to serve it over. But I still can take the roast out the Instapot, put the pot liquor inside of a like saucepan, and make a little slurry of flour and water, and thicken this up. Just thicken up this actual broth and making it into gravy. I may do that, but it turned out beautifully. There we are, Instapot Mississippi roast. So I think I'm gonna do what I said originally. See how that's breaking up, y'all? So it's super tender now, whereas beforehand it wasn't. See there? So what I want to do is I want to take it out. I don't like to shred beef, even though I'm not the one eating it. I still think it presents more beautifully as well. Look at that fat cap on there, y'all. Ooh, wee, honey. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna slice it, and then we'll put the gravy over it. Mississippi pot roast. Okay, y'all, so I'm about to take the roast out. I want to do so without breaking it. Beautiful piece of meat. Look at this. So tender it wants to break. There it is. Vegetables to the side for now until I'm ready to slice the meat. And once I slice the meat, then I will arrange the vegetables around it. And I am going to put this, I'll show you how I put the pot liquor on the stove and just thicken it up with flour. Y'all, don't get me wrong, a lot of people do leave their gravy thin and au jus style. It's just that the way my mother has always made it, we always thicken our broths and we never leave it watery and things like this. So that's the only reason why I'm thickening it. But you can very well just leave it as a thin beef broth. People still eat it that way over potatoes as well as rice. It's up to you. Okay, y'all, so here is the roast. Here's the roast, and then this is the gravy. I have thickened up this flour. So you can see the consistency is much different already. I'm gonna just let it simmer a bit to cook, make sure it doesn't have a flour taste to it. So you have to let it simmer even though it's already kind of thick. You don't want it to taste like flour, you have to cook the flour out. And then we may or may not slice the roast up, but this is just gravy made straight from the pot liquor. Remember, we had a whole stick of butter in here, so the oil you see is not grease, it's butter. It's butter, baby, because butter make it taste better. Ooh-wee. All right, y'all, the gravy has been thickened.
Give it to me like
Okay, y'all, so I ended up refrigerating the roast.
Look at how beautifully the roast sliced. So this is where I refrigerated all of the food you see I cooked. I let it refrigerate overnight, and I took the roast back out of the pan and I sliced it. That's one trick to cooking your big cuts of beef or whatever, whether it was a pork loin, but meat that has a stringy texture, I should say, like a roast. If you let it chill and refrigerate overnight, intentionally cook it a day prior, you'll be able to get beautiful even slices like you see here. So you see it almost looks brisket style now that I've sliced it. And here are the vegetables and the gravy that, it has the gelatinous look to it because it's been refrigerated. So, you have to make sure that your food gets to a certain temperature before you refrigerate it. And that's a whole nother story. We'll have to talk about that another time. Y'all, this is how grandmama cooks so much food for the holidays. You have to start well in advance, and you have to know what to cook first, how much of it to cook, and how to store it, and what temperatures to store it at, in order to make sure that your food doesn't spoil, that bacteria doesn't start to grow, all of those sorts of things, okay? But I just wanted to let you know, I cooked the roast one day, and then after it cooled down, I refrigerated it because I wanted to be able to feed my family and have nice even slices. So I refrigerated it, took the roast out of the refrigerator the next day, sliced it evenly, and then reheated everything with the gravy and the vegetables in the oven.